Today, I want to go over the hip hinge and the three main types of lower body lifts: the deadlift, the squat, and the straight-legged deadlift. A hip hinge means a hinging motion coming from the hips rather than at the back. I'm going to use a dowel rod to hold up against my back to demonstrate this. Now I have some space in between the rod and my back. I want to maintain that space as I do the hip hinge. If my spine flexes or extends during the hip hinge, that means I'm breaking form. So with all these exercises, it's very important to keep your trunk neutral with the motion coming from the hips. That's what lifting from your legs means, rather than lifting from your back. A poor example would be, that's breaking neutral in the trunk. Hip hinge, neutral spine, poor form. So the hip hinge is the basis for the next three lifts. The hip hinge, in its simplest form, is the straight-legged deadlift. With the straight-legged deadlift, my motion is coming primarily from the hips. You may see my knees bending a little bit, and that's okay. You don't want your knees totally locked out. You just want the motion coming primarily from the hips. With the stiff-legged deadlift, you can see my shin moves backwards compared to my ankle. My weight is in my heels with the stiff-legged deadlift. I'm feeling this in my hamstrings and my glutes. Those are the target muscles. The other extreme is the squat. The squat is a more complex movement involving the hips, knees, and ankles. In the squat, I'm dropping down as low as I can. My shins go forward to my ankles. Squats require the most movements and are the most demanding on your body. They require a lot of ankle dorsiflexion, knee flexion, and hip flexion. During the squatting motion, our quads are the key movers. Squats are the type of lifts we most commonly do, but squats can put more stress on your knees, leading to knee pain. The other lift is the deadlift. The deadlift is a compromise between the stiff-legged deadlift and the squat. It meets in the middle. So with the deadlift, my shins remain vertical. I'm hinging at my hips. My butt goes back. I feel tension in my hamstrings and my glutes. My weight is primarily in my heels. This is our most balanced, and it should be our strongest lift. So if you have to pick up something heavy, you want to come as close to it as possible. Get the weight on your heels, get down, and lift it up. To recap, we have the stiff-legged deadlift with the motion occurring primarily at the hips. The squat with motion occurring at the ankles, knees, and hips. And then in the middle is the deadlift with the motion occurring primarily at the hips and knees. The deadlift is a lift that many of us could benefit from using to help offset some of the quad dominance issues that so often lead to knee pain. Give it a try.